Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Money has never made man happy, nor will it. There is nothing in its nature to produce happiness. The more of it one has, the more one wants. Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech. I am for doing good to the poor, but I differ in opinion about the means. I think the best way of doing good to the poor is not making them easy in poverty, but leading or driving them out of it. As we enjoy great advantages from the inventions of others, we should be glad of an opportunity to serve others by any invention of ours, and this we should do freely and generously. I have never entered into any controversy in defense of my philosophical opinions. I leave them to take their chance in the world. If they are right, truth and experience will support them. If wrong, they ought to be refuted and rejected. Disputes are apt to sour one's temper and disturb one's quiet. For having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged, by better information or fuller consideration, to change opinions, even on important subjects, which I once thought right but found to be otherwise. So convenient a thing it is to be a reasonable creature, since it enables one to find or make a reason for everything one has a mind to do. There are two ways of being happy. We must either diminish our wants or augment our means. Either may do. The result is the same, and it is for each man to decide for himself and to do that which happens to be easier. We are more thoroughly an enlightened people, with respect to our political interests, than perhaps any other under heaven. Every man among us reads, and is so easy in his circumstances as to have leisure for conversations of improvement and for acquiring information. There is no kind of dishonesty into which otherwise good people more easily and frequently fall than that of defrauding the government. For my own part, I wish the bald eagle had not been chosen the representative of our country. He is a bird of bad moral character. He does not get his living honestly. Human felicity is produced not as much by great pieces of good fortune that seldom happen as by little advantages that occur every day. In my youth, I traveled much, and I observed in different countries, that the more public provisions were made for the poor, the less they provided for themselves, and of course became poorer. And, on the contrary, the less was done for them, the more they did for themselves, and became richer. Gain may be temporary and uncertain, but ever while you live, expense is constant and certain, and it is easier to build two chimneys than to keep one in fuel. God grant that not only the love of liberty but a thorough knowledge of the rights of man may pervade all the nations of the earth, so that a philosopher may set his foot anywhere on its surface and say, "This is my country." I should have no objection to go over the same life from its beginning to the end, requesting only the advantage authors have, of correcting in a second edition the faults of the first. Those who govern, having much business on their hands, do not generally like to take the trouble of considering and carrying into execution new projects. The best public measures are therefore seldom adopted from previous wisdom, but forced by the occasion.